In LA, I committed to staying home more and making my wife more of a priority. But as you see, I haven't. I'm still here on the road.
Men have it tough because it's very hard to have a balanced life as a man when it comes to family life. Only mama is allowed to be broke and still be fully appreciated and respected. People say, you know, we ain't have much growing up, but mama did what she could. I love her for that. That very rarely applies to a man, very rarely applies to a father. And so men are oftentimes put into this position of where it's spend time with your family, nurture your children, or go get this money. To even have the family, you gotta go get the money. But in the midst of you go getting the money, oftentimes the family doesn't fully understand the sacrifice that it is that you're making. And so that's why even when the kids get grown, dad could have paid for every single thing inside the house. But at the end of the day, the way they view the house is hey, I'm going to my mama's house.
How does society view a man's role as a provider? How does society view a man's role as a provider? And how can this pressure affect his mental and emotional health?
How that can affect men's mental health. I think something that's overlooked is especially in today's time, the economy in particular has changed a lot. We went from a time where especially in this country, a lot of things were being made and produced and manufactured and built. And I find that now the things that we're producing are more so socially related. They're cultural. You have digital technology, courses, videos online, and it's a very social environment. And I think, especially right now with that economy change, I think it's shifted from one that was advantageous for men to one that's now a lot more advantageous for women. And with that, I think what we're seeing a lot of is a dynamic where, women are starting to make a lot more money. They're starting to be able to provide a lot more. And I think for a lot of men, especially the ones raised with the ideals of providing, I think it leaves a gap that absolutely can damage their self-esteem or their sense of purpose. Because, if you've been told your whole life that your job is to provide, and now when you're an adult male, all of the women are providing for themselves. Some of them are able to provide better than you can because of simply just how the economy is set up. It creates a circumstance where a lot of men don't know what to do. The dude in the video, he said, I think it's Justin Blue. He said only mama's allowed to be broke, and that's not the case with dad. And I think there's some truth to that. But I don't know. I think that one right there really depends on each individual situation. I don't think there's really a black and white, particularly because in my particular life, I mean, my father wasn't necessarily a high income earning man, but he was always present, So for me, what I always valued in my particular family was that my dad was always present. A lot of my friends' dads did have higher earning jobs, but they weren't home. They weren't around. My dad was always around because he worked from home. So, if I had an issue at school, he was there. And things like that. If I needed help with homework, he was there. If I needed to be taught something, he was able to actively teach me a lot of things that other dads might not have gotten the opportunity to teach their sons. So I don't think the money thing is necessary. I just think it's important for, if it's not the finances, that's the biggest thing that the man is providing or bringing in. I definitely think you have to focus on just bringing other things to the table as well. Make sure that you're investing in your family's lives, because I mean, money is just one way to provide. You can provide guidance, understanding, love, attention, direction, time, instruction. There's so many things that I gained from my dad that weren't monetary, that I don't think monetary things could have ever even equated to or could ever possibly replace. So with such a focus on monetary value now, I think sometimes we absolutely overlook the value of those non-tangible things. So yeah, I'm gonna land there.
All right, I'm gonna go to you, DJ So Lovely. How does society view a man's role as a provider, and how can this pressure affect his mental and emotional health?
So I agree with what the first gentleman was stating. I think the first problem comes in with the definition of what a provider is, right? Back in the day, a provider, as far as a man was concerned, is what money he brought to the table. because like he was stating, women couldn't make as much money as men. Men were known to be the one to take care of the family, take care of the home, get all of those essentials. But as time has changed and women and the economy has changed, right? Women have more opportunities to now also bring finances to the table. I think it changes the structure altogether. So it takes a lot of that pressure off of the man. Whether or not he decides to allow that pressure to be taken off of him is totally different. But I do think now we live in a society where it doesn't have to just be money that the man is providing. The man provides a masculine energy that the woman can never provide. A man provides guidance for his children that the woman can never provide. And what the guy in the video was stating when he was saying, like, mommy could be the one that's broke, but daddy, if he's always gone making the money, it's always going to be mommy's house, is because that's who your children see there. And it truly is a difference when you're able to grow up in a home with both of your parents and both of them can be present. I think now this is the first time, I think, in society where we can literally allow men and women to both be present in the household. And it's truly more of a positive effect on our children and the future of our children than the situation we've had in the past, because in some type of way, the child has always felt neglected. Even though they may have had everything, what we realize is that children don't put as much value in things as adults do, right? They need time, they need care. Like he was stating, you need your father to be able to be there. If you're a young man, you need your father to come up to your games, to show up to your school. If you're a girl, you need your father to show you what love is from a man. And if you don't have him present because he's always gone, those are the things that you're going to be missing. So I think there is a lot of pressure when it comes to what a man provides. But the issue is the definition of provide nowadays and what society puts on man as the definition of providing. I think it's so much more than money. Money is not the biggest thing anymore. It's what else can you provide? You know, your time, your effort, your energy for your children. That's all.
All right. DJ, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay, great. First of all, good evening to everyone in the chat and the panel. So I wouldn't be me if I didn't point out how convenient it was that they cut off that Judge Mathis commentary like 4 seconds in, because it definitely was not in its full context. I mean, he admitted that he was away because he was working, but he was also excessively working, and he was also spending a lot of time with friends and doing extracurricular activities that he told his wife he would not do to better the health of their marriage. Aside from that, I do think society objectifies men when when they refer to them as providers, and I don't agree with it. I think that it makes our men appear so one-dimensional, and I don't think it's fair. It doesn't call for them to be anything else but an ATM or a wallet, and I think that's just as unfair as objectifying a woman and telling her she's only good for her aesthetic. So I definitely don't agree with that. I think that we should get away from that verbiage. But on the other side, when he's saying that a mother's allowed to be broke, that didn't register with me too much, because no, we're not. Mothers are not allowed to make excuses. We're not allowed to come to the table and say, hey, I didn't get paid this week. We got to feed them whether or not we get paid, whether or not the sky comes falling down. Mama got to figure it out before anybody else. So I think what our kids respect is our tenacity, and that's why they don't tear us down. And that's not taking anything away from a father. I have never seen a father present in a home and active with his children, and they say, oh, dad, you were excuse me, you were just a provider. I haven't seen that. Actually, I think it's the opposite. When a man is present and provide.
Okay. Yeah, y'all all been going crazy. Salute the chat and the panel, everybody. I think y'all touched on the main things. It's no such thing as a job right now that pays you per unit of masculinity. So I think we kind of got to remove our identity from being directly attached to finances as what makes you masculine. And that's not so much just on the kids. I think we reinforce that as other men. Like, oh, he not doing XYZ as a man, then you not holding it down. Da, 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 da. And by doing that, we put undue pressure on men who may be doing their best, may not be an extremely skilled worker, and they're making way for their family. It's just not a luxurious lifestyle where they could travel and do all the Instagram famous things. We need to remove Instagram about our life. As far like, if you want to play with it or use it, whatever, that's fine. But to base your life decisions on that is what really got us in a bind. It's got us in a figure four headlock. Because, so like for instance, in my life, I just had to ask personal like questions about what did I value, and then I found myself feeling like no amount of cars. There's only so many cars you can buy before they just a car. There's only so much clothes you can buy before it's just clothes. There's only so much stuff you can do before it's just that. And the things that matter are not just spending money and living that way. I get more satisfaction and relaxation and everything from being with my family every day, or having my kids run up to me. That when I made like the decision to take a step back from my profession in order to have more time for my kids from 0 through 5, I think it was the best decision I could have made, because I get to watch them through all of these stages and have direct input daily on everything that's going on with my kids. And it came at a setback because I wanted to go buy a Cybertruck. But instead of buying a Cybertruck, I put my Cybertruck energy into these children. And I feel like it's going to pay off a whole lot more than a little 6 to 8 years where I would have had a Cybertruck when nobody else had one. So, yeah, I think the pressure can affect your mental health if you let it. But if you stay grounded in God or in your family or whatever is necessary for you to feel complete, and don't let the outside influences affect that, your mental health will actually soar, because you'll know you're doing right by the people that actually matter, not the people who just judge you from a distance. So yeah.